Look, feel lonely.
Okay.
All right, I call this meeting to order today, May the 6th of 2019. Anna, can you please roll call?
Yes. Jacob Warren,
Present.
Jeff Henderson,
Present.
Terrence Lockett,
Present.
Chuck Hill,
Present.
Darlene Jacobs,
Present.
and Mr. Sims is absent. Ms. Edmonds is absent, but I am here to take care of both my jobs.
Okay.
No doubt,
All right, good.
handling
And y'all be
everything.
patient with me, please.
Do we have a public comment on today's agenda? Welcome. All right, we need approval of the minutes from March 11th of 2019.
I move that the minutes from March the 11th, 2019 be approved.
Second.
Got a second from Mr. Terrence. Is there any discussion about those minutes? They are in your packets. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? That motion passes. Old and new business. We got an apprentice application, which I guess that's, you guys are present for that. We have a Peter J. Vicari and Supervised Peter G. Vicari.
And one of you is PJ, I believe. Okay.
PJ.
Is that a father and son? or-
PG and PJ.
Yeah, okay, good.
You guys do the Vicari auto auctions, classic cars? Okay, great. Yeah, cool.
All right, so,
Do we have any discussion about this? Any questions pertaining to them?
I have none. I move that the apprentice application of Peter J. Vicari be approved.
Second.
Any further discussion about it? You thought this was gonna be hard, huh?
well, he does have to go through a little
Yeah.
legal
We
stuff.
gotta do a little bit of that, but.
Yeah, you understand what you need to do.
I was an apprentice under Jack Armstrong. I understood what I did. Has anything changed as far as him having to work the auction? I mean, he's done these auctions for years as far as ringing and reading out the information. He has not been able legally to get up there and auction it off.
Anybody have any questions for them? We do
I mean,
have,
everything's spelled out as
Yeah,
far
I
as
mean,
what's required, right?
that's
I mean,
correct, and I'm fixing
Yeah,
to.
nothing's really changed. There's a couple little things that'll be in that packet though.
Okay.
This gives you the rules. So, as far as what's concerned, and she has two letters. One to, I think, this is PJ. So this may be a copy, yeah, that's a copy from this. This gives you your, what you need to do, and this gives your participation worksheet. All of your instructions are on there.
I'd like to ask one question. Since the approval today allowed the apprentice, I should say, will an auction that was conducted this weekend count?
This past weekend?
No, because you're not.
No,
you're not-
you weren't granted the.
So it's from this point forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
All right, so we have a vote on it.
We've got a motion and a second.
Who made the motion?
Darlene and then Terrence made the second. Yeah, move that we give them a license.
Okay.
So any further discussion about this? Any other questions we need to ask? All right. And if anybody's opposed? Motion passes. Let's give him his apprentice
Thank you
license.
for your time.
Thank you.
You guys for coming.
Right.
Your response.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I'll try to come to one of your auctions. I love classic.
Oh, they're fun.
Bring your check.
When is your next auction?
When is your next auction? When's your next auction?
It's in Atlanta, June 28th, 29th.
Okay.
And then we go to, we travel, to
Yes,
southern
sir.
states.
Yeah. I think I know one of your employees,
Who's that?
Brittany.
She just started.
Yeah, she used to work at my office in AFC.
Sure did.
Yep.
That's right.
Tell her I said hello.
I will, Mr. Warren.
Warren, yes, sir, Jacob. Yep.
The auction this past weekend, she was nervous because it was her first full-fledged auction of handling the consignments, the
Yeah.
closeouts. And I told her, just relax. You know what you're doing. Don't let it get to you. Just
Yeah.
relax. And she did a great job.
Great. Yeah.
Ladies
Tell
and
her I said
gentlemen,
hello. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, the next one, we're going to do the executive session.
Yes, I have a report and a report of investigations, which I would ask be done executive session pursuant to 4217A1, 4217A4, and 4217A10. We also have a request to consider Mr. Kaufman's bond claim to pay back fees, which I would ask be consolidated also in executive session, so you don't have to come in back and forth, and that's pursuant to 4217A1.
Okay. We get a motion going into executive?
I move that we go into executive session.
Chuck seconds. If you would roll call it, please, Anna.
Okay. All right. All right. So, Mr. Henderson,
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Lockett?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
And Mr. Warren?
Yes.
You have 5 votes in favor.
Motion passes. If we ask the general public to leave. I need a motion to come out of executive session.
I so move.
Second.
Jeff seconds. Miss, almost called you Sandy again. Sorry.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Jeff. Can you roll call it, please, Miss Hannah?
Yes, I can. Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Lockett?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Sims not present. Mr. Hill?
Yes.
And Mr. Warren?
Yes.
You have 5 votes in favor.
Motion passes. We're out of executive session. So at this point, we're going to discuss Mr. Donald Wayne Kaufman, right?
That's correct. Mr. Kaufman was notified of the pending agenda request, basically to file a claim on any fees he owed from the September 2018 meeting, and asked that they be paid out of his bond, which is still active. Mr. Kaufman responded, first of all, apparently that he did not want all this heard in open session, but also he responded that he intends to get his license back when he can afford his renewal fees, and he would like to still have his bond. So that is,
So until he does that, we can't give him a license.
just give me a we need a motion.
Yeah,
Because we
make
have
that
an
a
agenda
motion.
item, we can pass
Yeah,
it,
you want to make the motion, Karen?
or we can file the claim or not file the claim.
I would like to make a motion that we just defer giving him his license back until those fees are paid, rather than foreclosing on the bond.
So the motion is to pay the $300 that's in balance.
And pay up the
before-
sales tax.
Before we get in the sales tax, before we give him a license. Or have a payment plan set up for
Right.
Are we giving him a time limit on that before we do file?
No, because he's not going to get a license. I don't think you need to do that. He's not getting a license until he does it.
Yeah. I think that should.
So we're not going to file on the bond at all?
I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we have a motion, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any further discussion? Is there anyone opposed? Motion passes.
All right, now we get to move on to some tested auctioneer applicants. We've got Miss Yvette Mutz, I don't know. Give me. I need a motion to get that approved.
I'd like to move that Yvette Mutz be approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any further discussion? Anybody opposed? Let's give Miss Yvette a license. I have a Rachel Amard next for a tested auctioneer applicant.
I'd like to move that Rachel Amard be approved.
I'll second that.
Chuck seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any discussion? Let's give Miss Rachel a license.
I need to recuse myself from voting on this next one.
On Christopher Lane, Mr. Henderson will recuse himself on voting for this license. Now, this one is pending his bond. We have everything but his bond.
Then I'd like to move that Christopher Lane get his license pending the bond.
upon receipt of the bond.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is to reinstate a couple applications here. Mr. J.P. King Auction Company, previously licensed through 2016.
Was there any particular reason why he let his license
That's what I was
lapse?
about to ask.
I think it's probably because he didn't have any auctions going on. They're out of
Okay.
Alabama.
Okay.
All right.
So basically an out-of-state auction that comes in and does from time to time.
Okay, then I'd like to move that J.P. King Auction Company be approved.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Next will be the Jerry Craig King.
Is it relation to?
Yes,
Great, so that has to be JP. Okay,
yes.
so this is the auctioneer.
Right.
That's the auction.
Okay, okay.
I'd like to move that Mr. Jerry Craig King be approved.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Henderson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Aye.
Motion passes. We have next on the agenda approval of business applicant, DeQuincy Livestock Market LLC.
I'd like to move that the Quincy Livestock Market LLC be approved.
I'll second.
Do we know any background on them? Are they going to be selling general merchandise there as well?
Well, they're limited in what they can sell.
Right,
So that they have our license as well as their livestock.
okay, gotcha.
I'm not aware of any other reason I can pull.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any particular
All those in
reason. I think
favor?
that's what it is.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Yeah, so.
Okay. Motion passes. We got Storage Treasures LLC.
I'd like to move that Storage Treasures LLC be approved.
Get a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we need to discuss anything? Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Next will be the approval of the financials, which is in your packet.
I'd like to move that the financials be approved.
Second.
Any discussion over them? And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion
Who
passes.
seconded that?
Terrence.
Now we need approval of the fiscal budget for 2020.
I'd like to move that the fiscal budget for 2020 be approved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes. Now the fun part. Officer elections for the 2020 calendar year. We need a vice chairman and a secretary treasurer.
I'd like to move that James Sims be reappointed as vice chairman.
Second.
Any discussion over that? Anybody opposed to that? Mr. Sims would continue as vice chairman. Secretary and treasurer.
Currently Darlene.
I'd like to make a motion that Ms. Darlene Jacobs remain Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay, which one want to take the credit?
You want to flip a coin? Chuck did.
Okay.
Who I win?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. All right, we've got the, next will be the approval of professional service contracts through 2020.
I'd like to move that Anna Dow's professional service contract be approved.
And the down. Anybody want a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Next will be the Department of Justice.
I'd like to move that the professional service contract for the Department of Justice be approved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Next will be Advanced Investigative Technologies LLC.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes.
How much are they charging an hour? Do we know?
I don't know that.
It's charging technically state rate, which is,
And also is statewide surveillance charging the same amount?
they're supposed to be, however, when I checked with them on advanced, they're out of Kenner and they cover Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish.
But how much are they
and-
charging? That's a big deal.
Hold on, contracts, she put in here. And see if I can get to those.
I thought it was,
Not as quickly as I
discussed
thought I
that.
would. They are, okay, hold on, that's not it. I just had them in front of me. Oh, here we go. Okay. Both of the contracts are supposed to be the same amount. They are set at $10,000 maximum. That doesn't have any impact unless we use them. And I'm looking for the hourly rate.
That's for both advanced and statewide? That's for both advanced and statewide?
That's correct. Hold on.
In other words, so it's a retainer of 10,000, but you can use
No, it's
them-
no retainer. That's the maximum. That's just the ceiling.
Okay.
They can't charge more than that during the year. For some reason, this is the state fiscal funding, discrimination, eligibility, discrimination. I do not see the rate listed in the contract. Let me see what's on the other one. There are more than I was charging through my office, but these people have licenses. And so far, I have not had a chance to use them because they don't travel. The one I did find, I do not.
Well, let's defer that then until we can get that on statewide.
Yeah,
Because I
I
really need to
know.
know how much they're going to charge.
Hold on just a minute. Should be on there. Oh, sorry. Here, I found it. $40 per hour for advanced investigative technologies, $50 per hour for statewide surveillance. With both of them having a maximum amount of 10,000. I was charging 40 an hour for my office.
But you're an attorney and they're not.
No, well,
It's a big
they were
difference.
charging, the investigators who are not licensed had to be, I had to hire them and pay them. So if they're licensed, they're contracted directly with you. I charge you $175 an hour. Thank you for not asking. But they're charging, this is basically state rates. Whether we'll use them or not, I have up to a certain amount, but I prefer they be on contract so we don't have a dispute as to the amount.
Well,
But y'all will pay them directly.
which
And
would
they
be
will provide
10,000 regardless of whether or not they work or not.
No.
Some maximum.
They cannot charge over the year
Yeah.
more than 10,000
So if
cumulative.
we book them one time for 2 hours, we only owe them $80.
Yeah.
That's it,
Oh,
that's all we
okay.
pay.
Then I would
Yeah.
move that Advanced Investigative Technology LLC and Statewide Surveillance Investigations LLC be approved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any further discussion on it? Anybody opposed?
Who was the second on that? I'm sorry. Terrence.
Terrence, huh? Okay.
Fighting over the seconds today. Darlene's motioning for everything.
I think the same, put
Motion
Darlene
passes.
down, yeah.
Statewide surveillance and investigations.
I think you included.
I think we-
Oh, did you? You did?
I did,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. Well, then both motions passed. Both guys get, yeah. They're both approved. Next meeting date will be
Oh,
July.
no, you have 11.
Oh.
Proposal for online renewal system.
I don't have 11.
I don't have 11 on mine.
Okay, I didn't do this.
Where is it?
Yeah, I don't
What
have
is it?
11 at all.
Oh, no, that's, okay, that's all right. This is for an online renewal system. Basically, we have gotten she had gotten a bid on this for Lumen, who are doing it for the medical board, and their rates. Let me go back to here. These are my next on my list. All right, so Lumen basically would pay, and y'all, I apologize for this because I've looked at these, and I've looked at the proposed contracts, and we were told that we're going to have to redo the contracts, but here we go. Basically, in Lumen, this is for online renewals, which are a convenience for licensees. The proposal that we have is to set it up, let's see, it's $750 a month, but the setup is expensive, and it would be, I have it somewhere in my stuff, but I thought she would have it attached. Anyway, there is a requirement to pay the setup, the establishment using existing licensees to allow them to renew. She did not attach that page, their proposal.
Who
I
is
thought I
it
had
with?
it.
Who is it with?
In Lumen.
Can we pass it, Donna?
LUMON.
Can we pass this until we get all the
Well,
information?
the only reason she wanted to consider, Dave, you want to do it, that, let me see if she stuck it in. If you want to do it, the problem would be that, to try to get it up and running by October, which is when we renew for 2020. If we do
I
it
need
the
more
next-
information on it. I mean,
Yeah, I know, and I thought,
You know,
I apologize for that. I see the contract, I
$750 a
don't
month
see
is-
the proposal, which she should have. And she sent to me to review, and I copied. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. All right, let me give you their proposal. We talked about this last meeting, but it was so expensive. And it was at that time $1,350 a month. They have reduced it to $750 a month. But the options, basically for setup and implementation, is there's a $45,000 initial implementation, a smaller amount for less benefits, and an even smaller amount for even fewer benefits. And she did not put that in your
And
package.
what exactly do they do?
They would set up a website so that you could go online and renew your
So
license.
the online renewals,
Right.
basically, so they're not going to be sent in via.
I think that's high, frankly, but I mean, I'd like to see
Is that
some more
the-
That's the
information on
cheapest
that.
we've found so far.
Well, I mean, I'd still like to see more information on that.
Yeah.
And we've reached out to other
Yes.
government boards and.
Yes,
see
we
who
checked
all
with
they're
everyone,
using.
she's checked. This actually, believe it or not, was the cheapest of all of them. I mean, we have the money, that's not the problem.
Yeah, but you don't have a lot of money,
No,
Anna,
we're in-
Anna, you don't have a lot of money in reserve, you don't have a lot of money. You haven't got a lot of money in reserve.
it's not-
You have the money, but not a lot of money.
That's, yeah,
She's actually written
I think that's
renewals, et
high,
cetera.
but, you know, that's just me.
that seems extremely high to me.
This is
I mean, we do, that's.
this is the original.
You're in my nose.
Are we able to register online?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
live now.
Yeah. Yeah, like
That
I
was,
said,
that was a fraction of it.
yeah, there's another board pertaining to our industry that just did something similar, very cheap.
Because of the size. The larger the board, the larger the number of licensees you're talking about, use motor vehicles. Because they have so many, they can charge less, you know, in some fashion, because they can charge in other ways. But this is the proposal she received, the
Can't
only
see it
change
being
to
that
this.
complicated to set up.
You know, I'd like to receive a copy of it and pass it to the next meeting, because I'd like to have a chance to read it. I think it's excessive, but I might be wrong. And Sandy's going to be at the next meeting, I assume, right?
Yeah, she was gonna be here today, but due to emergency circumstances, she wasn't.
So,
able to
you know,
make
I'd like to see what she can tell us about it.
Yeah, she and I talked about it. She sent out requests for proposals and RFPs. These are the ones that actually came in, and what I'm giving you is what she gave to me for that. I'm just not seeing it. Let me see if she put something in here. And of course, Thought she had everything read against it Friday, but she may have still been tweaking it this morning. So,
So how many more hours you need?
I have 40 something hours. It's like it's total of 90.
And you need 90?
My undergrad.
And you're taking 9 in summer school?
Taking 6. 6 and
Yeah, I mean,
some
as of right now,
Schedule
I think we
for
should
fall.
defer to the next
Probably
meeting
do
on this.
another 11,
Maybe we'll
12
just take a
in the spring.
motion.
Get some more, yeah.
It wasn't on her agenda.
I'm looking
Yeah.
to finish.
but she
the
said
next
that's
fall,
all she's
fall
got,
20.
the other one was
Try to
finals.
sit for the ball.
Was
fall
the only
20,
two, and she only had 2
February
respond back. So,
There has to be, and maybe I'm wrong, I could be, but there has to be more options for something like that.
That's what I think.
Besides- Something outside of government, because they hear
12. Well, I mean,
government
if you
want to
get
take
on the
heads
team.
off.
she's gonna have, because that's not the final one, that's the one I got. I just wrote in that,
Email us a copy.
Yeah, we could probably ask her and she'd do
I
it.
thought she had for some reason, I don't know.
If she did, I missed it, because this is the
Yeah,
first
no one
time
else
I'm
has
hearing,
it, so.
hearing of this.
Okay. All right,
Unless
we'll
I'm
just-
forget, I've got a lot going on. She may have told me I forgot, but I don't think so. All right, so I need a motion to defer to next meeting.
I'd like to move that it be deferred until next meeting, that we all be given a copy of the contract prior to the meeting.
And I'd like, I mean, if you don't mind extending that to explore more options outside
Yes, sir.
of government.
And I would like more occupancy.
Well, they have to be able to contract with the government, that's the only.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
What was that? I missed that.
So I have Darlene moving, who's?
Who's second?
I'll second.
Sorry.
Any further discussion on this? All those in favor?
All right.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. And the next meeting day will be July the 8th. Is that good with everybody?
Yep.
If there's no hurricane. If there's no hurricane,
Don't
no
say,
way.
why you gotta say those words, Darlene?
Hurricane
Because
situation, I mean, hurricane season comes just
That happens.
June 1.
I may not.
I mean, I think they ought to make you all do a year apprentice,
Does anybody even know that now?
a law firm. In some states, they do it.
Well, I had to do that for, I had to do a year for my speech pathology.
All right, do we need to do the adjournment and all that fun stuff?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn, second. Anybody want to discuss while we're adjourning? All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's go home.
I think that should be made.
Motion passes.
If y'all would, I need 2 witnesses for each of these signatures.